everybody. It's David back in Dallas, Texas, here on the third floor of our place, uh, affectionately known as the Hawk's Nest here in Dallas. This is where, during the football season, it's decorated for the Seattle Seahawks. This year, the decorations came down a little bit early, so I just wanted to welcome you to Module 6. By the way, behind me, you'll see a Starbucks mug collection. That's part of our collection. We have probably over 100 Starbucks mugs, and we get one of those from every city that we visit that has that particular type of city mug, and so we have several from around the world. There are only thing we have to do is we have to visit the city, so we can't get them any other way than by visiting the city. So just sort of a display of some of the places that we've been in the world. Well, 2 weeks left here in the first course of your master's degree program. It has flown by, perhaps for me, maybe not for you as much, but 2 weeks remaining. So let's talk a little bit about Module 6. Module 6, by the way, is probably my favorite lesson here in the course because it talks about reasoning. Very, very practical type of topic in critical thinking. So chapter 12 talks about comparative reasoning. Comparative reasoning is a very simple form of reasoning where you say this is like this. So perhaps something that you've experienced, you can connect with something else. And so a very, very simple form of reasoning. Chapter 13 is all about ideological reasoning. I talked about this, I think either in a video and some of my comments on your papers a couple of weeks ago, but ideological reasoning, one of those things that you kind of grow up with. So you're in the middle of this ideology, if you will, and so therefore it creeps into your reasoning and your way of thinking. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not good. Comparative reasoning, sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not good as well, because you may have fallacies, if you will, in your comparisons as you try and pull those together. And then chapter 14 talks about empirical reasoning. And that's what I've been trying to get you to sort of embrace as you do outside research for your projects. Empirical reasoning is not foolproof, but it relies much more on a bottoms-up type of reasoning where you go in and you analyze facts and those types of things and then try and make some logical comments, some logical reasoning, if you will. Empirical reasoning is all centered in that. Again, sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not so good. All right? The discussion board this week talks about social media, and the challenges that may be presented because of social media and reasoning. Now, you may think that I focus so much of the course on social media and those types of things, and I do that for a purpose because social media has just enveloped our lives in so many different ways. And so I want to make sure that as we're trying to put these discussions together and we're trying to have discussions with each other, that we're very realistic in understanding how social media plays a part in our lives, whether we want it to or not, or whether we admit that it does or not. And so certainly from a reasoning perspective, social media can have an impact. And that's what I want you to talk about in the discussion boards this week. And then in the application, you're going to take each one of those three areas of reasoning, comparative reasoning, ideological reasoning, and empirical reasoning, and you're going to give me the advantages, disadvantages of all of those. So again, remember this, before you start, before you start going into all of the pros and the cons, the pluses and the minuses, make sure that you have a very clear definition for the reader about what each type of reasoning is. Remember, define first, then apply. All right? Well, I'm back in Dallas for the last 2 weeks of the course. Totally accessible if you need to chat with me. So I hope you have a great sixth week. And if you need me, reach out and call me. All right. Take care.